Hello everyone, Untitled, welcome to another Fabric mod overview, this time on Whiplash Magic Dungeons. A mod that simply adds in dungeons, as well as some dungeon-specific blocks, dungeon locator, escape rope, crystals, and more. So, what you'll come across is simply dungeons between the following X and Z coordinates of the negative and positive range, as well as a Y level of 20 deep. And obviously they're just in random positions between said positioning or coordinates range. And yeah, so we'll just do this from a survival perspective. And if you were to do that, you just need a dungeon locator map, which is just a feather, place powder, and an empty map. We just right click here or shift click. I always forget. I think it's just the one. There we go. So it says row such and such, and it'll sort of do certain checks, or just I guess generate one, I'm not sure. And we'll just wait for it to do its thing, and it's now given us a location. So that's still appearing. So we'll just teleport to there, obviously. So 4, 3, 4, 7, we'll go say 100 blocks, and we'll go from here. So we'll go to there, so there's no actual option like a /locate sort of thing. You are going to have to make your way to here. So you'll come across an earth one, like so, and it does take a while to get down here, and I don't think you can break the blocks if I remember correctly. So let's see, we'll get a pickaxe for example. I'm pretty sure you can't break them at all. Like a double pick or something. Yeah, because they're supposed to be unbreakable by survival means. You do sort of take damage at the bottom there, but this is that. So we'll just get some health, we'll get some armor, and we'll be good to go. Let's get some cake just to quickly boost our hunger. Nothing too fancy. And we'll get some armor because why not? Alrighty then. So, as you can see, there is sort of what looks like portal blocks, but they actually aren't, but they do give you damage if you stand on them, if you're not careful. We've got rain obviously from the ceiling as well, which is always great. So just get rid of the zombie here real quick. So some of them will hold crystals, which I think they can also drop them for you. Just get some health again. But yeah, in between, oh sorry, underneath the sort of blocks there, on all sides, is pretty much a mob spawner, which you can't break. Obviously you can illuminate the area, and there is lanterns, but there's not much else you can really do to actually destroy it. I don't know if you can use TNT to destroy them. We'll actually test that. But since they are supposed to be unbreakable blocks, most likely I don't think it'll reach much further through to the spawner, I don't think. You can break the lantern, of course, but that's about it. But yeah, nothing here. Can you actually see through it though, which is most of the case. So we've got the skeleton there, and we don't have a zombie here anymore, so possibly you can actually destroy them via TNT that way, which is not what I was expecting. So maybe that's possible. Otherwise, you'll come across loot, which is just a bunch of barrels with certain general loot options. I'm just going to spectate for the rest here. As pretty much just sort of does its own thing here, with just sort of looping around in different directions. And obviously each barrel will have different loot accordingly. You'll get them sort of placed sort of close by in a way. But yeah, sometimes you will get crystals, I'm pretty sure, in between these as well. We've got that. So no crystals on that one, but there is a chance of crystals to generate in them, I'm pretty sure. So we go around here, and you get sort of the typical mob spawners. Yes, what we got? Efficiency, we didn't get much there. We got a golden apple, which is nice. So we just sort of go into spectator for the most part, but you can find crystals in the actual barrels for the most part, and that hasn't generated yet because I'm in survival. But yeah, as you can see, obviously it is pretty much just sort of a maze. If I had a mini-map, I would show that, but yeah, it is a giant maze of sorts. Eventually you do get to a point where you'll hit a certain corner where you'll find a particular mob at the end that's not like all the typical vanilla mobs. And yeah, okay, so that wasn't supposed to happen. Let's see if we can find them, because these things are big, so they're not exactly the easiest to find. Don't think I'm gonna find them likely enough, but they are at certain corners of the dungeon. Unless I'm gonna have to show my LP footage, which might be the case. Hopefully not though. Yeah, so that's the end. It's usually from like one corner to the next, I think, from when I came across it in my Let's Play. But we'll see what happens here. So nothing like that there. Ah, here we go. This is what you want. So you'll come across this after navigating however many directions and such. And let's see, so we just spawn here. Spawning stuff, that's typically supposed to be there, unless it's not happening in this version, but either way. You'll come across a certain mob, like so. It's called a such and such. And yeah, as far as I can tell, you can't trade with them. You pretty much just sort of defeat them, and they'll give you crystals and as well as I think maybe some other stuff. You also get a core element, which looks like so. If I can get rid of you, thanks. That'd be great. But you sort of just get a core element, which looks like this, I guess, in this version. So like that, and you pretty much just place it down, and it's just a barrel, and you've got all the loot inside. I don't think they're going to spawn that way. No, that's just going to be a broken texture there. So there's that, but they do pretty much just spawn like so properly, and you just defeat them, and I think you get something besides just the core element. But yeah, other than that, for just the main dungeon aspects, you do get spellbooks, which randomly generate. I haven't come across one myself naturally. I assume they do appear in the barrels, or you get them from defeating the said mob, which is now tried to spawn and didn't spawn because it's peaceful, which is odd. Oh well. And yeah, so you can see there's different covers, and there's also different spells, I guess, depending on which dungeon you're in. Now, I haven't come across them via cheating them in to give me new ones. It just sort of keeps giving me... Okay, so now it has, for some reason. But before, obviously, it gave me something a bit different, which was just a blindness and sort of red particle effect fire type one. I use this. This is just a water one, which I think I need a crystal. So I need some water crystals, I guess. Maybe, maybe not. There's supposed to be like a glowing effect, I assume. I'm not really too sure with this. Let's see then. If we move over, so book. Let's see. So we do that. Okay, so it does randomize it still. It's just so style regeneration. So maybe a earth crystal. I'm not too sure. Either way, some of these I'm really not too sure with, but they do give random effects and stuff. So this one will give us a generation effect. It's a strong one. It requires levels. That's why. Okay, so we'll do that. So to give a fireball of sorts. Okay, so we try again. It's going to give us a fire type effect. Okay, so regeneration, but it's the fire element. So speed, actually? Fire prison of speed. We don't need a fire crystal or anything for that, I don't think. Nope. Not too sure there. We try again. Got earth and something happening there. Oh, so instant damage, whoops. So we try again just by searching. It'll give us blindness. This is what I meant before, the barrier blindness sort of thing, except it now has green particle effects as an earth one. So yeah, there's different benefits for the spellbooks. Otherwise, I think the crystals, if I remember correctly, maybe are for, here we go, As a power level, this power level is extra damage on top of your normal damage, right? So if you're using this, I assume, with your fist or with your sword, then you get benefits, and not for the other, like I thought it was with the spellbooks, but I just wanted to make sure. So every weapon from every mod that uses the following method can be used. Crystals have elements. If your crystal is super effective against the enemies, it does twice the damage. Not every is effective, and such and such. So pretty much just increases damage, and obviously it appears in the following dungeons. I pretty much assume is the case there. Let's see. So you get the following spells of Orbs, which is the barrier one. Self Orb, the same barrier but for a caster. There's a beam one. There's also a fireball, which we came across. So yeah, the boss generates random effects and buffs. We drop his fancy helmet, which I haven't come across in either version, I think, actually. Oh, the core element, sorry, is their helmet, right? I forgot about that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. If we just check the last thing, of course, which would be the escape rope, that's pretty much just a way of escaping the dungeon. So if we just go to creative, and we just go to where our teleport was a while ago. Just do this, and let's see. So if we just go, say, in here, all the way down, and say just to the entrance, for example, I assume it'll maybe just take us to the entrance, or it'll actually take us to wherever else we were, maybe. Actually, we'll go further through and see what happens, because I haven't actually tested this. But you can make it with vines and a slime ball, of course. I think the map and the rope are the only ones that have recipes. Everything else is obviously required by other means. So we do this. This will take us just outside of it. So if we even go just to here, it'll do that. It'll take us there. Okay, can I do this a bit more stuff? You can bring those in creative, yes. So we just do this, it will just pop us outside to wherever. So that's, I assume obviously it is technically just consumed. Yeah, so it's just consumed, you don't get durability or anything like that, so it takes you straight to the entrance. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.